Hello, it's Fred and Sheila McCoy at the Hatfield McCoy Museum in Liberty, Kentucky. FredMcCoy.com, Hatfield's McCoy's Museum.com. How can you miss that behind me? I wanted to go over something. I heard a thing on TV the other day. They were talking about the Confederate flag and putting it down, and some people get so down on the Confederate flag, but it's our past, and it's important. It's not political in a lot of places. It's not political here. That flag was part of what caused the Hatfield-McCoy feud. That flag and the American flag clashed at that time. And well, they were both American flags, but they were in opposition of each other. And so just because we see that flag, and a lot of people wants it taken down, but there's no changing our past. And if we try to discredit or get rid of our past, that's how you repeat your past generations to come, because they don't know what happened in the past. You can make it whatever you want. You can make it whatever kind of symbol you want to, good, bad, it's up to you. For some reason, there's two sides to every story. But as far as the Hatfield-McCoy Museum and it being displayed here, it's part of the Civil War. And once again, the Civil War is what started the hard feelings between the Hatfields and McCoys. That's real people. Real people died in the Civil War. Real people died in the Hatfield-McCoy feud. And I just wanted to do a short segment on that. This flag right here it's in the what we call the Popcorn Sutton exhibit. She'll span her camera around there. And we have a Popcorn Sutton for any of you moonshiners out there. A small exhibit. It's a pretty elaborate exhibit. We've got many different things. That's Popcorn's first moonshine still right over there. And it's not only Popcorn Sutton, it's Popcorn and Dennis Sutton. And Dennis Sutton is a U.S. Marine, Vietnam veteran, Popcorn's first cousin. We'll do a segment. I don't want to get too much in there right now, but we'll do a segment on it later on Dennis, which was just a great fella. And he told us a bunch of stories. We wrote a book on Popcorn Sutton just because of the interest and the moonshining and his personality. He was a different type of person. And other than that, that's going to conclude this segment. And hello, it's Fred and Sheila McCoy. As you can see, we're not at the museum.
Nope.
Sheila was editing a video earlier, and I wanted to add a little bit to it.
Okay.
And explain a couple of things, because first of all, I'm anything but politically correct. I don't, you can tell by my personality, I'm not a conformer to some of this garbage that's going on in America right now. So without going into that, I just don't conform well. We're raised a certain way, we're grown up and different things, and so I'm not politically correct on a lot of issues. If you don't want to, I don't want to be like that, because we want you to watch our videos, or we want to take the time to do them. But I was going to say, if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. We hope you do, because some of our videos start out one way, and then before you get done, you're thinking, well, that's not the way I thought it was going. And this may be one of those videos. Anyway, we're talking about the Confederate flag. We're talking about the Confederacy and the Union, the North and the South. Let Sheila and I explain a couple of things to you. First of all, I had, of course, we've all got two sides to our family, grandparents and so forth like that. My McCoy side that lived in Kentucky, Uriah McCoy and his wife Aunt Betty, which is the one that took in Rosanna when she became pregnant, but Uriah McCoy fought in the Confederacy.
Okay.
He owned no slaves, had no slaves, didn't want no slaves. but he fought for the Confederacy. He lived in Kentucky. My other grandfather, Preacher Anderson Hatfield, not the mean one from West Virginia, this Anderson Hatfield lived in Kentucky and was known as Preacher Ants. Preacher Ants fought for the Union. He had no slaves, didn't want no slaves. Randall McCoy lived in Kentucky, fought for the Confederacy. Devil Anse Hatfield lived in Virginia, what was to become known as West Virginia.
Right.
He also fought for the Confederacy for the little bit of 2 or 3 months, up to maybe 4 or 5 months that he was active.
Yeah.
Before he deserted. And Asa Harmon McCoy. Asa Harmon was Randall McCoy's brother. He fought for the Union along with Preacher Ants Hatfield. These guys lived within 3, 4, 5 miles of each other. Confederate Union. Again, Kentucky was a border state. Asa Harmon fought for the Union. Randall McCoy's brother, yet he owned slaves. He had slaves, but he fought for the Union. And if that don't tell everybody something, you know, this over the years, this Confederate battle flag, now the Confederacy had 2 flags, but the battle flag, the one you're going to probably see on the thumbnail.
X is going to be on the thumbnail, yeah.
Thumbnail of this picture is the most recognizable flag probably in the world as far as flags go. I mean, I know there's all kinds of Soviet Union, the American flag, different ones are recognizable, but
controversial,
especially
maybe?
here in America. Thank you. At least it's the most probably controversial, especially here in the United States. So, even though it's controversial, do we hide it? Do we ban it? Do we take it away? I used to be a big NASCAR fan. And we went to races, season tickets, everything. We loved it. And they come out, a couple of them with, we're going to ban the Confederate flag. Well, do we ban the Confederate flag today and the United States flag tomorrow? Watch the YouTube video. I'm drifting.
Yeah.
I watched a YouTube video last night where this high school was in the Capitol in D.C. singing the Star Spangled Banner. And security comes up, beautiful singing, this choir was, and they come up and stopped them, said they didn't want them to be controversial. They was afraid somebody would take offense to it. If they take offense to it, get the hell out of America. Oh my God, how sickening is that? We're in America, and you're afraid somebody's going to take offense because we're singing the national anthem, and we're in America? But yet everybody wants to come to America because it's so great?
Supposed to be the land of the free.
Sorry. My point here is, you can't hide these flags. You can't hide the national anthem. You can't hide the things that you don't like. These things were brought about by history. Let me explain something. The Confederate flag, the North and the South, was more about political issues. More. Listen to me, people. I know there's history teachers out there that surely can correct me if I'm wrong. But the North and the South came about because the South wanted more freedom with their states. It wasn't about or just about slavery. It was about rights. Each state wanted to be able to govern their own state. And when they started out with going to America, the Capitol, D.C., all this and that's going to tell people what to do, some people didn't like it. Maybe they didn't understand it, but they didn't like it. When you don't understand something or you don't like something, what do? You fight against it. You stand up. This Confederate flag was not about slavery. Now, through the years, people has allowed, just like I have been silent about the Hatfield-McCoy feud, because you've got jobs, careers, you've got things you've got to worry about, until you finally get old and you don't care anymore and you say, hey, somebody's got to say something. And they let this Confederate flag become known as a hate symbol, a hate flag, a slavery flag. And no doubt it had some bearing. There was slavery dealing with the war. But it wasn't about slavery. It was about individual states keeping their own individual rights and governing themselves. We could take anything today. You know, way back, my brother and I was watching, was just young boys, Fridays. It was a movie they come out with in the 70s, like Saturday Night Live, but it was called Fridays, and had that old big tall guy that used to play on, oh God, I don't know what he played on.
Taxi or something?
No, it was,
I don't know.
what's that, Simon, or not Simon, but he played in that. He was goofy as he could be. He'd stand his hair up in front, he'd stand there, and he was an idiot, and he was good. But each week they come on there, Steinfeld. I think he played in Steinfeld, the great old big tall guy that wasn't. Anyway, each week they would come on there. They said, we're going to start making a new curse word every week. And one week they come on there and they said, cart fum. Cart fum you. He said, cart fum you. He said, go to cart fum. Anywhere they could use that word in a cussing language, they done it. And my brother and I, we went, there was 2 or 3 words that we remembered as kids growing up. And it was just funny how a person can take something and you can turn it into something through a video, through a newspaper, so many ways. And then people start believing it. People start believing that. And this man just made up curse words or words, and people started using them in the 70s. And that's about what they did with the Civil War flag, the Confederate flag. I know over the years, if they burn a house down, they'd hang the Confederate flag. Do you know that some people does things, there's a word for it, but it escapes me now, but on the other side, they do it to make it look like something that is not, covertly, or whatever the word is I'm looking for. But there's times that people's actually burnt buildings down or tore things up, and then they've hung a Confederate flag there to make it look like it's a bunch of supremacists, white supremacists, or Confederates, or hate people. You can't always believe everything you see, because people work. They're smart. There's some smart people out there behind the scenes.
They're sneaky.
People are sneaky. We know that. I'm not telling you guys, our viewers, nothing you don't know. And listen, I appreciate you. Got a text a while ago, and somebody was researching the 45th. And they
Virginia.
said, why isn't Devil Ants listed in here, and so forth. And Sheila and I, you know, it makes us feel good, because instead of people just believing everything that they see over the years on the Feud, or things that we put out, or somebody else has put out.
They're doing their own research.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we like that.
It's good.
This guy here wrote us this message, sent us this list of soldiers, and he said, why is this? Keep researching. Keep researching and find out why. I don't have all the answers. Sheila don't have all the answers.
Lord, no.
But between everybody researching and doing what they do and taking an interest in things, you wouldn't believe, we just don't go over them in our videos, but you wouldn't believe some of the text messages or phone calls or whatever we get, where people has actually told us things.
Yeah.
You guys are educating us on some stuff. We never profess to be the smartest people in the world. And especially at my age, like I'm drifting right now, if you can't tell.
It's all good.
I tend to lean off on other subjects. I try to come up with things that, it seems like the viewers that watch our page is people that's got the same views, or similar to our views. Yeah. Not everybody watches our page, and that's okay.
That's their
choice. I don't watch everybody else's page. There's certain things that I can't see me logging onto a page that would offend me more than it would suit me. But do I protest it? Do I raise Cain? Do I go on about it? Yeah, probably. No. But I just turn the channel off. I just go to something else.
You see something you don't like? Change the channel.
So the people that watch our channel is pretty much, you know, I think they at least relate to some of the things that we say. The Confederate flag was not meant to be a hate symbol in the beginning. That was the flag that the South chose to represent them, and especially the battle flag. That's the flag they chose. Now, throughout the years, we've allowed people to turn it into a hate symbol. It's not a hate symbol, it's our heritage. Now listen, if I was back in the day, I don't know who, I've often thought, when I was in the 5th grade and I wrote a book report on the Hatfield McCoy feud, and I seen how it started, how brother was against brother, how, and I've often wondered, I've always thought, well, in the beginning, in the 5th grade, because I thought the South was for slavery, and I'm not for slavery. I wasn't. That was wrong. But you know what? The funny thing is, yeah, I'm drifting. The funny thing is, do you know what, people, Mr. Sharpton and some of these people out here, without getting into stuff, do you know what? As bad as you hated slavery and as much as you talk about all this stuff, there's still slavery today all over the world. Instead of hating each other here in America, we're done in America. There's no, you're always going to have bias. There's always going to be extremists on one side or the other. What about the Black Panthers? I know we got the Ku Klux Klan, the white supremacists. What about the Black Panthers? You hear very little about, but you see them with the machine guns out standing out in front of election halls. We see that. We just don't comment on it a lot. We got better things to do. We got a life to live. But we see that. We know there's another side. We know there's as much abuse to white people by black people as there are abuse to black people by white people. We know that. We just don't harp on it. We just don't get in front and tear people's stuff up or carry on. We don't do that. We've got better things to do. You guys could stop slavery in some of these other countries, these third world country that still has slavery. Of all the people that should know about slavery and want to reform it and fix it, it would be the black person in America. And you've got the power, you've got the finances, you've got the smarts, some intelligent black people out there. We're not back in the slave days. This is 2023. Instead of teaching our Americans to hate each other or dislike or non-trust, forget about this nonsense. Let's go to these third world countries and free these other people that are now slaves in these big industries, making clothing or whatever they might be doing.
Sweatshops.
We can change it.
Yeah.
This is not the topic I come out here to discuss.
But that's okay.
But it's okay. That's how I drift, and that's how. But you could, instead of harping on the past, you know, we've harped on the past. We know all about the past.
We can't change it.
We have changed it. We can't change certain things, but we've changed what it used to be from slavery.
Yeah, right. But yeah.
Yeah, and so it has changed, but how much can we change it? It's changed to where we're at today. We know right from wrong. We know
from the past.
Going back to my point, as a 5th grader, I wondered who I would fight for, and I'm thinking, well, I hate slavery, so I would have fought for the North. I would have been Union. And then I'm thinking, well, as I got older, I'm thinking, well, I don't like somebody, think about Soviet Union, think about Russia, think about communism, socialism, think about all this stuff. Who wants that? Who wants Big Brother telling you what to do? So I started thinking, no, I would have probably fought for the South, because I would want my independence. I would want our state to be able to, and that's what should happen today. If you want certain rights or you want to promote certain things in life, it's easy. Pick out the states that goes with what you do. If the Second Amendment, something ever happens to the Second Amendment, I'll move to a state that has Second Amendment. If something ever happens to where I don't want to get political here.
Yeah.
She's motioning for me because she knows where I'm going. She knows me. 38 years. So
it's all good.
Anyway, as far as the Confederate flag, guys, the Confederate flag was a military flag at the time. It was people standing up for what they believed in, people standing up for what they thought was right at the time. You know, I've heard people say many a time, and that's these smooth talking Hatfields, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Waynesboro, Tazewell, Virginia, Hatfields, and they say Devil Anse done what he felt he had to do. Really? Devil Anse tying people to trees, stripping them down, killing them, doing what he had to do? That's not what he had to do. He had a choice there. He could have took them boys and turned them over to the law. And again, there's always choices for us. Don't always believe everything you see, read, and hear.
Right.
Start having doubt. Start researching. Start looking around at people's lives. When you hear certain people talk and they represent certain tourisms, like Pike County tourism, like Rio Hatfield, she's making a face, and William Keith Hatfield and Ron, I've nicknamed them Selkirk, McCoy. When you see people like that, research and look at what they say. Look at some of the stories that we've done. If we're wrong in some of the things that we've said, prove us wrong. We're not wrong. Those things really happen. They've really said these things. There's newspaper articles, there's radio tapes,
Interviews, yeah.
And when you see people like that, I heard one this morning. I was watching one from the Pike County Tourism, and all three of them was on there. Rio, Ron, Selkirk, McCoy, and William Keith. And they're all three on there talking real easy music playing, and they're saying Devil Anse just done what he had to do. And Ron, of course, he's agreeing with both of them, and they're going on. But you know, and Rio says, I had a McCoy in my family, and I never thought about McCoys. Really? Well, go back to the peace treaty in 2003 and see what Rio says about McCoys. It's on one of our newspaper articles. Rio says that he didn't trust the McCoys. He didn't like the McCoys
On principle.
on principle. He didn't like the McCoys on principle. But yet that's the man that made up the story on Hubert Bay McCoy, that he shot his grandfather in the back 3 times, and the man was unarmed. And then his grandfather shoots him in the back and kills him. Is sentenced to 5 years hard labor. I don't know how we got off on this. It always tends to go there, but this is why I've wanted to do this for years and correct history. And if I go back and I cover something you've already covered, fine, I'm sorry. But maybe somebody's viewing this is the first video they've ever viewed on Sheila's 100 and some videos. And this is the first one that they view, and they might be thinking, whoa, who is this William Keith Hatfield? Who is this Rio Hatfield? Who is this Ron? As Donald Trump would say, and like I said, this comes from Ron because Ron quoted Donald Trump in one of his newspapers, so I guess what's fair for the gander's fair for the geese, or whatever the old saying is.
Fair for the goose is fair for the gander.
Yeah. Ron Selkirk McCoy. This is Fred and Sheila McCoy, and we've enjoyed this segment. I hope you have. I don't mean to be harsh. I think people's learning my personality now.
Yeah.
My bark's worse than my bite, or I'm not as bad as I seem. I don't mean to be if I am. I just...
You're just passionate and you want to get your point
I'm not
across.
Rio Hatfield and William Keith Hatfield. I'm not. I wish in that trait, I wish I was more like them and could stand here and shake your hand and smile at you. But along with that comes this knife in the back. And I'd rather be old Fred McCoy. Tell it like it is, Fred. And be honest with people. I think people's going to pick up on it throughout the years. If we keep this going, I think they're going to. We've got so many more videos coming that's going to prove people their character and dignity. And Fred and Sheila McCoy, she's motioning at me. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
You want to say anything?
No, just please like and subscribe, and I hope you're having a great day.
Guys, listen. One thing.
Okay.
I'll wrap it up. We've been getting more and more of the $100 donations or buying. Like I said, we're not a 501c, so it's actually taxable to us. We have to pay tax on it, which is fine. Government deserves theirs too. I want to say something there, but I won't. And now I'm going to lose my train of thought.
Yeah, we was talking about the plaques.
Several people are ordering those plaques, and we went on the website earlier a while ago under donate. And now you can donate any amount you want. If you want to donate $20 and we put that, somebody comes to the museum someday and they don't have money to come in, we let them come in anyway. But if you want to help out, you want to give a donation, then we'd put that money toward giving them a free ticket. So at the same time, because we love telling our history and spreading the history, at the same time, we want to give something back to these people that's so sweet to do that for us and make a $100 donation. So what Sheila and I did a while ago, we're not going to be open on Sundays. Sheila just don't want to do it, and that's fine. No, but since this is going to be a charitable thing, And since a lot of people can travel on Saturdays and Sundays, the last Sunday of every July, the last Sunday of July every year, that's going to be dedicated to all these people that bought the little plaque.
Right.
That is your day. Not only is that day just going to be for you from 8 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. You can come anytime during that Sunday, and there's no charge to you to come into the museum, and you get to bring 5 of your family or friends with you.
Right.
It's not all about money to us. I know, I don't want it to seem like it is. We just have to have money to operate, so it really helps us out, helps us with the building, helps us with things. But at the same time, if you want to come, that last Sunday of each July is going to be yours. Now, not only that, if you come anytime during the year, anytime you ever come, if you've made the $100 donation and put your plaque on a thing, you can come anytime you want and tell Sheila your name when you come in the door.
Free of charge.
And well, it's free.
Well, I mean, because they've already paid for the plaque.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
They've already paid, and no charge to you. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, trying to. Unless it comes across wrong, sorry.
Oh, I do that. Don't worry about coming across wrong, Sheila. I do it all the time. You'll never be master me over that. Guys, catch you next time.
Bye. Have a good day.